Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. And today on our high school preview show, I got two dudes that are getting it done at the lower class level. I got a class 4, class 5. Should probably be in the same classes this year, I'd imagine, right, guys? Possibly, maybe.
Our room is pretty low. You just check that out.
I got Coach Russ Hill over there from Fort Zumwalt East. Coach, how you doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having
And to my right, just right here, I got Coach Nuru Allen from St. Charles West High School. Coach, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Guys, I appreciate you taking your time, really. These gentlemen take their time and come over here and sit in the studio with me and answer questions. I love that.
Good to talk baseball.
Yeah.
So we're going to start first, Coach Allen. Upcoming season.
Yeah.
You know, I remember we were talking just before we started. Last year was so, I don't know. You got a season under your belt.
Yeah.
How you guys looking this year?
Well, it's not as drastic as last year. Like last year, we had no idea because we lost that 2020 season. This year, we're returning Josh, and, he's one of the top pitchers, one of the top players in the area, and so I think we'll be okay. But we lost 8 seniors last year. And, losing 8 seniors doesn't matter, if they're top of the lineup or, low in the lineup or not playing at all, just missing that leadership that might play a role. And, we had 2 guys in particular with Ray Rico and Cole Grambling. Pretty much the battery with the pitcher and catcher. That's a big loss. And so we're still looking for, people to replace them. In fact, I don't even know if they are replaceable, but just someone to pick up the slack that they provided. So we've got some guys that are talented. We've got some guys returning from last year that did some things for us. So I'm very excited about this season. Very excited.
Absolutely. Coach Hill, you what's the prognostication? I mean, I don't think you were as senior heavy last year, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. We didn't lose volume wise. We didn't lose a ton of guys, but the ones we lost were crucial.
Yeah,
right. I mean, you get a player like Austin Young who doesn't come around very often. He's tough shoes to fill for sure. But, we didn't lose we did have some guys. Chase Copenhaver was a good kid, and, Nathan Manus, there's some other guys that will be tough to fill, but we got a lot of guys back.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys back.
Yeah, you look forward to the season?
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. I thought the boys did really well last year for us, and I mean, you could say the same thing,
Yeah, both you guys made good runs.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise for sure, but like Nuru said, it was coming off of 2020, we didn't know really what we were getting into, so it was good. It was a good season, so I'm excited to kind of build on it, to be honest, because we got a ton of dudes back, and, the expectation is going to be there, so.
I think it's interesting, too, when we look at this. Coach, you've had a lot of the same guys working in your program for a while. You still have John Varner there, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, the gray hair ain't fooling nobody because it's sucking my will to live, man. I can't think of Coach Weiber.
Yes.
I think he's stepped away, right?
He's our first coach. I've been fortunate enough to return those coaches.
Yeah.
And he's the first coach I've lost.
Right.
That's the first coach that left our program, to be honest. And I'm not talking about volunteers. I've been blessed with volunteers.
Sure.
But Coach Lautsy, our assistant, he does a great job. I mean, he's as good as it gets as an assistant. Appreciate everything he does, that's for sure. And then Varner stepped up into the JV role, and now we have a freshman coach that's returning back to us. We've had him for like 8 years as a volunteer, so he's like kind of just normal coach that's been there forever. He's just now getting a little bit of money, I guess. But he's, Coach Jerkins will be back doing good things for us at the freshman level. So, yeah, I've been pretty blessed with getting those guys back.
That's awesome. Coach, how about yourself? You're kind of new at this and building your staff. So how is that working for you that way?
Well, this year is little different because we're losing. We lost Big Rico, Ray Senior. He was a long time coach at St. Charles West. He used to be the head guy. Then he was my assistant for the past 3 years, and he ended up stepping away because of the work schedule and everything else. So replacing him, we have Coach Jeremy Mindorf. He's the head softball coach, and he was the JV coach. He does a tremendous job. He relates to the kids well, and he's just a guy that wants to be there all the time. And have Adam Ricks. He's a volunteer assistant. He's been a volunteer about as long as I can remember. I mean, he's been there for probably 8 years, and I think he's still in his 20s. I mean, he should be 35, and I think he's still like 27. So
we won't tell.
No, we won't say anything. But we got those two. They'll be helping on the varsity level. Then we've got Alex Waite. He's a new hire that we hired this year. He was at St. Charles High. He was highly recommended from Coach Bickle from High, and he's a very motivated young man. And he just wants to learn and get his hands on the guys to, one, help out with the game of baseball and help out with life and stuff. Right. So we've liked him on board. And we got John Warnicki. He's been a guy that was a former head coach. He coached softball, and he's been a part of the baseball program for a long time. So just like Coach Hill, we've been real blessed of having a lot of not a lot of turnover in our program.
Yeah, it does help because the messaging is the same all the way up.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. They know the program. And I think it's interesting because we've talked with Coach Perkins a lot about, building a successful program. And, that's the same thing he says, what you guys are talking about, having those same dudes, guys that are coming back and being able to come in and fit and understand the program, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I agree. It's funny you said something about gray hair. Coach Nuru, he said a couple names there that threw me back. I coached Jeremy back in the day. I used to volunteer assist over there at St. Charles West. And Jeremy was he was a freshman.
Oh, man.
When I was helping out on the JV program over there, that kid could play. And now I see him. And, of course, Alex Waite's a Zumwalt kid.
Yeah.
So it's like, and, Ray, been coaching with Ray, back in the day. So
isn't Holtgravy over at St. Charles too, right?
Yeah.
He's an East guy.
I hear your gray hair.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that Russ has got his fingerprints on all of St. Charles.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Exactly. Russ was here when I first came to St. Louis. Russ was, at Lindenwood, walking around with a torn ACL, running and doing that, helping out, coaching. So I kind of saw from him and his work ethic and everything else. And then you see all the assistants that I have, and for some reason he's got his fingerprints on them as well. So,
like I said, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think
it's good. I think it's
awesome.
a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
It just makes me feel old,
Well, you're old, but it's still a good thing.
It happens, Coach. What do you?
Can't stop that.
But that's awesome, and I love that. And see, because we talk a lot about that on the show here, because it is about community. And many of these kids that are going on, they all have aspirations for as high as they can go. But they're coming back to the community and that they do and they're part of it. I think that is a testament to what you guys have done in your careers. So kudos, guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some players.
Okay.
You've got Josh Newell coming back, which, you get okay, we'll just say it. He's a stud.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
So we understand that he's going to be there. Who else do you see that is maybe going to take that slack?
Excuse me. Well, obviously, like I said, we're going to lean heavily on Josh. But we got, Dylan Patterson. He's a sorry, guys.
You're okay.
Dylan Patterson is a guy that he's a senior now. He kind of started coming in his own towards the end of our season. You can see the work that he's put in the offseason with his summer team. He's put on good weight. He's a guy that we're hoping can step into that pitching role, hopefully be a number 2 kind of guy. Not going to put that much pressure on him because, to go in and try to replace or even come close to what Ray did, that's not realistic, But I need him to be, to give us something on the mound. I think that he's a solid third baseman. He hit the ball with a little bit of pop. So he's a guy that, I'm expecting big things out of. Also, we got a Kyle Quinn. He was our starting second baseman last year. He doesn't even play summer ball. And that's where that initial rule, if we talk about it, will come into play. But he is a guy that we're going to lean heavily on as well. He swung the bat well. He's a solid fielder, and we're looking to build on what he did. And we got a couple other young guys that could possibly do some great things for us. His brother, Carson, we're expecting him to make a pretty big jump. And then we've got, a couple seniors that played a big role for us last year, but they played a role. And like with Jacob Blassingame, he was a kind of a relief pitcher. We're trying to get him more on the mound and hopefully swinging the bat. His brother, Drew, he's got big shoes to fill because he might be a catcher for us. So we've got guys, and I'm not even talking about the young guys that we have. We got a couple young guys that I'm hoping will step in and play a big role for us on the varsity level. But you'll never know until we get them out.
You don't, especially that's a big jump, freshman, sophomore, going to that. It really is.
Yes.
I know that's tough. I know people go, oh, no, they should. No, it is. It's different. It really is. So, Coach, you got, as we talked about, Luke Aubuchon, senior leadership there.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to McKendree.
Yep.
Josh Newell at Lindenwood. Here's some really good players. I meant to say that earlier. I'm sorry.
Right.
But then you got Parker Davis right there as well. Guys that have been in your program, understand it. I think that's some solid leadership there, right?
Yeah, those two are going to be great leaders for us for sure. One in the infield, one in the outfield, both in the heart of the lineup for sure. So yeah, Aubie's going to be good for us, and both of them are going to have to jump up on the mound. We lost a lot of pitching. And when I say pitching, I mean like starting pitching. AY, Nathan Manus, Colin Hampton. We lost some guys. So those type of kids are going to have to jump in on us, and it's tough as a coach. We all have to do this and juggle. Like for example, we have a position player in Luke Aubuchon who's our shortstop. He's going to have to pitch for us. Well, he can't pitch on Tuesdays because if he throws 80 pitches on Tuesday, he can't play shortstop. Or at least I'm not going to make him play shortstop on Wednesday.
That's tough, isn't it, Coach?
Absolutely. So you got to juggle a little bit when we have our Tuesday, Wednesday little midweek GAC matchup. So now that guy's going to have to be somebody like Aubuchon's going to have to be a Wednesday guy, and it makes things a little bit tougher to kind of juggle. But we got some guys back. We got a lot of guys back, honestly. So I'm excited about offensively we'll be okay, defensively we'll be okay. It's the
and you got two young guys in Eric Williams and Jackson Carter.
Yeah, those two are
because both those were freshmen last year.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. I knew Carter could fly. I mean, that kid's a cheetah. I mean, he's just flat out.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, he can get it. And then Eric was such a quiet surprise. We had a COVID and an injury at third base early, and I was like, who's the next third baseman that we felt would step in? And here we had this little freshman. He wasn't little, but we had a freshman on JV that was early, and we were just like, well, heck, he's our next guy up. So that was a big phrase for us with the COVID year, phrase was next guy up, and then Eric jumped in and went 2 for 4 one game and never got out of the lineup.
Yeah. I saw him hit a couple of bombs too.
I mean,
you guys.
He can play, and he's only gotten better,
Yeah.
And that's good. We want to see our guys keep getting better, off season and their club training and things like that. So yeah, we got some, we got our catcher, we got a couple guys behind the plate, Jackson Penn will be back. He's a junior. He's good. I think he had 30 RBIs last year. So another heart of the lineup guy. So yeah, we'll be okay.
The tough thing in what I think you're alluding to, and this is where it gets difficult. And any baseball team you hear talk about catcher, middle, center field, you have.
Yeah, you get back
right. Mm-hmm. Whereas you're going to struggle looking at that part of it.
That's the piece. I'm pretty confident. Unfortunately I'm not like Coach Hill. Our Newell probably will pitch Tuesday and play shortstop Wednesday. We'll just make sure we take care of his arm Thursday through Monday. Yeah, up the middle, like I said, catcher is going to be pretty key for us. That's kind of possibly going to dictate a lot that we do this year. If our kid that's working at catcher, they work hard. Drew is a hardworking kid, and he's relentless in the weight room, and he's always trying to learn, always trying to get better. So, if he kind of takes that work ethic onto the field, I think we'll be fine. But for him to be like Cole was, that's not being realistic.
Right, I understand. Because, that's hard to replace in that respect. And you're just going to have to see what happens.
Absolutely.
Coach, you got anybody down there and you're surprised maybe that might pop up on your radar?
Yeah, we do have a few we have a few freshmen that are good sized kids, already have some skill, good frame, there's a difference between like a freshman being talented coming into high school and weighing 125 pounds,
right,
or somebody that's 170 that's developed. And we have three guys, and Ryan Cleathermos is a good player. He swings up and down on the basketball team, JV and varsity. He's he's good. He's going to be good. We have a kid who plays for PBA named Carter Hollandsworth. He's a freshman. Big, tall kid, potential arm for sure. Might even, who knows, if he gets up on there, if we're lacking some pitching depth, he'll get some opportunity. And then we have a third freshman that's pretty good sized kid named Lonnie Land, who's, he's a hockey kid and tough gritted. Just a great kid to coach. So those three are, it'll be interesting to see how they unfold and where they land. So.
Big key though, right, guys? And we talk about this all the time on the show. I talk about it with Matt and Kevin, is pitching depth.
Yeah.
And we were talking before we started the segment here. It's so tough because you're dealing with kids that are playing different sports and this and that, and you need those athletes. And it's hard to put together, for lack of a better, it is what it's hard to put together a pitching staff, isn't it?
It is. Just
a pitching staff, because, how many guys are you going to carry this year?
Right now, if I had to say, hopefully 15. Last year, I think we had 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah, that's tough for you guys, and us too, us smaller schools, like, we don't have the luxury of having POs, we truly don't.
Right.
We might have one here and there, but, that is tough,
Right.
Because
what did you carry last year, Coach?
We'll have anywhere around 18,
That's what I figured. Yeah.
But it is tough to manage.
And that's kind of the difference between that class 5 and
just
class
a
4,
bit,
right?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then class 6, we're talking with Coach Perkins, Coach Goff, Coach Beckman over at House Central. We got those guys coming.
Sure.
They're talking, I got this arm, and this arm, and those guys aren't playing the field.
No.
And that is the separator, isn't it?
It is, and that's, I don't feel sorry for those guys.
No.
They're juggling 10 POs. I'm just kidding. I like those guys. They're good. They
no, but
they do it well.
It's just true though.
Well.
That's I think the tougher thing for coaches at in these classes.
Sure.
You guys are trying to find those arms to get you into the playoffs.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Last year we made a run because we had 2 guys that pretty much dominated when they went out, and we rode those 2 guys to the quarterfinals. And so, but those 2 guys also had to play shortstop, had to play center field, and this year is going to be the same thing. Josh is going to be our number 1, and then he's going to have to turn around and play short. Hopefully Patterson will, be our number 2, and he'll have to possibly turn around and play third base or first base. And we got a couple other guys that, will have to pitch and then play a position. And, I'm not big on freshmen doing that, but there might be a freshman guy that we have that might have to be on the mound, but at the very least be in the field and stuff. So.
Yeah, and like I was teasing about those bigger schools having that luxury. It is one of the biggest differences is the pitching depth. Not to say the talent. The talent. We all have good dudes, but
right.
They will, historically more good dudes.
And I think it was a good thing that they added the Class 6.
You're 100% correct. Yeah, that was our first year. You know, at 1,250, and I'm not complaining because I know you guys have fewer kids than we do. But you know, ever since East opened up in 2007, we were competing at the highest class with 1,250 kids, and you know, it was tough. You know, I mean, we're still looking for our first district championship. You know, and we've been in the championship game twice, ever. You know,
right?
And so last year was our first year being in that second tier, and it made a difference. You know, 100% difference.
I think that was the positive thing, because we talk about, you know, you guys are dealing with the new Misha rules, you know, and it's cutting back on opportunities that you guys may be able to see athletes, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
And because of dead weeks, and we can't, because, you know, what are your feelings on those, on what they've done, and how do you think that'll affect you guys long term?
Well, I think with the rules that they have in place right now, I have two guys that are on the varsity basketball team, Carson and Kyle Quinn. Those are two guys that are not a part of a summer team, that don't, you know, have a place to go do, like throw bullpens, hit, or whatever. And so they're playing basketball. They don't have that opportunity to come in, get some swings, maybe throw off the mound, get their arms ready for the season. And if they happen to make a run in districts, you know, and happen to go to state, hopefully, then they come in right away without really any kind of work whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it might take him the majority of the season just to get to where they're ready to begin the season.
Because on the other that, you got Josh Newell playing basketball too.
Yes.
He's on the varsity squad, right?
Right. And but with Josh, I know that he's going and doing the pitching stuff and everything else. Now, he just told me he hasn't swung a bat since July. That's a problem. That's a problem.
It is a problem.
You know,
You're correct.
And so that would be great to have those guys to come in and take swings, but they can't because of what the rules in place. And if you have kids that, and we talked about, like, that might be on the fence or whatever, then they might push away from baseball because they're like, well, you know, if I can't do this and I'm strictly basketball, I'm just going to concentrate on basketball or whatever sport is, you know, is on their mind and stuff. So it's a difficult thing.
Yeah, it is. Like we were talking before a few minutes ago about that, when you got guys who play multiple sports and can't attend that preseason stuff. And if it's their, you know, like they put this in place, like I get it, you know, even Justin was talking about how it's protect the kid. Like we get it. Like we understand their mindset, their heads may be in the right place. Right. The plan sounded good. Yeah. But because they do get pulled in multiple directions when your basketball coach is going 6 days a week, but your baseball coach wants you to do open gyms. And, you know, it's tough. It's taxing. Not to mention school. Like, I mean, I get it. I really do. But when you got a guy that's maybe playing basketball as his second sport, and he is a baseball dude, and he's missing all of his preseason stuff at his high school, like you said, if he's on the fence of playing basketball or not, that could teeter him off of playing another sport, which is ideally what everybody really wants, is kids to be multi-sport and develop and holistic and all, you know. But those kids are just going to say, well, I'm not going to play basketball if I'm not going to be able to, or insert any other sport.
Yep.
And to your point, Coach, Class 6 guys, all of those guys, well, I want my guys playing other sports. I haven't talked to a baseball coach at any of the class levels and where they can afford it, probably to a degree, right, that don't want those kids playing at those other sports.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's usually universal. I think that's a really fun debate. Some people could really get into, you know, when do you not want the multi-sport kid, you know,
right?
Like when you're young, of course, when you're in high school, you know, yes, at some point, maybe. That's a fun debate, but I mean, we all want multi-sport athletes that just are ready to compete and, you know, but they should better kind of maybe think about that, because I think maybe they should reconsider. It might be hurting them in the long run, you know, hurting kids in the long run.
We're going to finish up here. I got a few questions just to kind of finish up here. And GAC conference. Okay, you guys are both in the Central, correct? I believe. No, you're in the central. You guys are in the north.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because it goes by
Enrollment.
size of schools,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, Coach Hill, who you circling on the calendar? I know who it is. It's got to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, selfishly, I'm always circling our name. You know? we put goals up there to win conference. So
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, we had a 3-way tie last year with Liberty, and of course Zumwalt South. So it was kind of fun watching each other kind of bang up on each other. It was weird how that unfolded. All of us went 8-2. It was really strange, you know, how we swept Liberty and Liberty swept South. And South swept us, but yet we beat everybody. It was really weird, but honestly, I think it's kind of between. I mean, really, it is anybody's game, and I say that because like we bring a lot of dudes back. Mm-hmm. We're missing some pitching that worries me, but guys got to step up. But we're bringing, I mean, a ton of dudes back. Like if you look at our lineup, we lost 2 bats.
Yeah,
that's it. You know, we lost 2 bats, and then you look at South. South graduated a ton of dudes, but they got 3 key players back. You know, they got 3 key players back with Friedel. Yeah, and Liberty's got 2 arms.
You got to face Seth Bennis, who we saw over the weekend sitting at 90-92.
Yeah. So, you know, you got guys like that and that Sam. I mean, they have 2 guys that can throw and they'll carry them. And even like somebody like, let's say like Zumwalt North and Francis Howell North, who didn't finish very high last year, but Zumwalt North didn't hardly lose anybody. Like, I don't think they lost one pitcher. And they're returning a ton of dudes back with a lot of experience. And Francis Howell North, you know, they got some guys that are coming back, and that's not to say Washington can't either. I mean, they got a new head coach out there, and he's bringing good things to the table. And so I mean, it could be anybody's game. I like our chances just as much as anybody. But
I got to ask you this because it's tough. You know, Justin played for you, and it's always been that bugaboo with South.
It has, and you know, it's like Achilles' heel, man. They just always have our number. You know, they just do. It's I don't even know how to explain it. It's frustrating, you know, but
I bet as a coach, right? You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and the kids know too. It's a fun rivalry, you know, but they have our time. They have our number more times than not. So it's you know, that's always the challenge is to get through them and
absolutely.
We'll see.
Love rivalry.
Yeah, for sure.
We're hoping to get that one.
Yeah.
I know that everybody's in. We're working on getting that South East game for GAC Game of the Week. So
that'll be fun.
North Division.
Well, you know, we won it last year. I'm like I said, our side of the conference. I mean, we know we're the smaller schools and everything else.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. But, you know, it doesn't matter. You're exactly right. But anybody in our conference,
because St. Charles had a good team last year.
Yes, St. Charles. Yes, St. Charles has guys, but they lost Sam.
Right.
You know, but they got this kid Jackson Chu. That's doing pretty well.
Jackson can throw.
Right. And so they're going to be a team to look to be on the lookout for. You know, Coach Pickle does a great job over there. But then you got Warrenton. Warrenton has been, it feels like our little bugaboo for, you know, at least for the past 2 or 3 years that I've been coaching. They always find a way to win, to beat us. They're a gritty team. They always got a guy that can swing it. You know, they won't overwhelm you, but they just do enough to win the game. And that's, you know, credit to the coaches over there. And Orchard Farm, I know they were kind of down last year, but I know Coach Kendall does a good job of coaching them up. So they'll be someone to look at. And in Winfield. And Winfield has been a fairly tough team in baseball for years. And so, you know, to say that, hey, we're the favorites, I mean, I do like our chances. I mean, anytime you've got, you know, Josh going on the mound and with the other guys that we got, I like our chances with anybody. So I don't know. I can't be like Russ and say, hey, we'll circle us. But I could say that I like our chances.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's that? You know, the game that I'm looking at too that I think is a good measuring. You got St. Dominic on your schedule.
Yeah.
toward the end of the season there, and they're always a tough one. I want to see that St. Charles game again too.
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Especially if it's
that'll be a good matchup.
Yeah, I want to see that one, bro.
Well, that would be great. In the St. Dominic game, I mean, we beat them to win districts, and so I'm sure they'll be hungry to face us.
And we got Grant Richards coming up on our player spotlight. Good kid. Good, I don't know if he's going to throw much this year, so you probably won't have to mess with him. But he's going to be playing in the field. We'll see, though. He's on the rehab side.
Well, take your time. You know what I'm saying? Like make sure Coastal Carolina is getting the best of you. It was unfortunate to see him hurt last year. I was impressed with him with the fact that he's a good kid. He's a good kid, and he was into the game. And,
he really is.
I know it didn't go St. Dominic's way, but they're just. I like going against them because they bring the best out of our team, and I hope we bring the best out of them. So that would be a good matchup. But if Richards wants to chill, he can chill. Yeah, there you go.
I think you guys got some great matchups coming up. We're looking forward to Liberty with you guys, and then South, and then I think St. Charles, and it'll be interesting. I haven't when you talked about Warrenton, that'll be interesting to see, and I know the St. Dominic one. So good stuff, guys.
Always, yeah.
I'll tell you, and honestly, I mean, I don't know that I would pick a winner in your guys'.
It's
the Central right now. I think South, like you said, has got guys. I think
always do.
Liberty's going to be tough because the arms, right? I think they got. I believe personally, no offense, Coach, but just in looking at it, just from the paper, Liberty's got the pitching depth
for sure. They got some arms for sure.
So, and we'll see what happens. I think that matchup there, St. Charles and yourselves, I think that's going to be an interesting one.
I mean, just for our school, I hope it would come down to us, just like it did us and High, like it did last year. So I'm just looking forward to playing some ball. That's
the weather looks good, don't it?
Yeah.
Get rid of that snow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, yeah. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's always I love this stuff. This is always this gets me going. I love talking to you guys about the upcoming season, what it is. I appreciate it. Really.
Fun talking about
no problem.
Thank you very much for inviting
us.
Yep. So we're going to be out at the ballpark. We'll come by and say hello, and hopefully we'll get our GAC game of the week going and get you guys in there and have some fun.
Sounds good.
Fun.
Coach Russ Hill, Fort Zumwalt East. Coach Nuru Allen, St. Charles West. Good quality baseball. If you're a baseball fan in the St. Charles community or county area, go out and support this. Go out and watch some baseball. There's some really good players in this area, some really good baseball. You won't be disappointed, folks, okay? So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Remember, hit that subscribe. If you got something you want to comment about, throw your comment there below. We'll be happy to look for that and answer and talk to you back and forth a little bit. Subscribe. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters, hit them where they ain't. And we will see you next time.